I'd like to bring the meeting to order, if I may. I'm Paul Palushy. I am the acting mayor for the month of November. The mayor is absent today due to being ill. Yep. So the first thing we have before us is the approval of the agenda. It's been moved by Councillor Moore and seconded by Councillor Gibson, that the agenda for the special council meeting of November 12th be approved as printed and circulated. All those in favor? Oh, sorry, any additions? Councillor Miles?
Notice that there had been a petition about the special council meeting and the agenda. We really don't know, members of council, why we were petitioned to be here today other than to receive these reports. So we're unable to determine whether or not there's any conflict of interest or anything else, and unless we know why it is that we have been asked to have this council meeting today. So I did just hear a few minutes ago that there is a motion. Could we, all members of council, have a copy of the motion so that we can determine whether or not there is any conflict of interest? Because in dealing with these reports in the past, there were conflicts of interest by members of council. So we can't determine that unless we know, other than just receipt of the reports.
Well, my recommendation then is going to be that we would approve the agenda that you have before you today. We would go to the CAO, who I believe is going to, because of the correspondence that has come in, that is before you also, that we do move in camera. And I believe that after the in-camera session, if you at that time think that you have a conflict of interest, I would suggest that when we come out of camera, then you raise your hand and whether you feel that you have a conflict of interest or not. That's my take. It's up to you as council if you want to accept that.
I would like to be able to see the motion before we determine why we're going in camera even.
The motion, Mr. Chairman, has not been distributed at this point until it's added to the agenda. It could be business arising. I haven't had a chance to read it. It's up to the acting mayor if he wishes to distribute it at this point before the agenda is approved.
Well, I'd be happy to. I don't know. I have not seen it either, and I have absolutely no problem in distributing it to council members.
Okay, I would appreciate being able to see it so that we know why we're here today, other than to receive these reports.
Okay, thank you. Take a couple of minutes to have that distributed to council members. There's an awful lot of squiggles on the top of it. Okay, have you had an opportunity to read it? I certainly have some questions about it because it's not a complete motion. Yeah. You're dealing with the breach of the code of contract. I believe the mayor wasn't the only one that did that. There was other breaches and they should be dealt with the same way. Everybody should be So, what is the wish of council? Do you wish to approve the agenda? Oh, sorry, I'm going back to conflicts of interest.
Well,
Well, no, sorry, I have to go back to the approval of the agenda first. Councillor Miles, you're on the board still?
well, I do think that we're going to have legal advice before we do anything based on this motion.
Well, I think it does go without saying you're going to need a legal opinion. And that you want to protect the corporation and the city. So,
We may want to hear from the solicitor, the mayor's solicitor, before we go in camera so that we know what he has to say in regards to this as well.
well, I have no delegations on the agenda, so if you,
Here, there is a,
I do not have the addition in front of me. Sorry, the only addition I have is correspondence. Oh, okay, all right, sorry. So it's not that I need to add him then, he has the right? Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Acting Mayor, the delegation is able to delegate to this meeting what we call as of right, because he is addressing an item that is already on the agenda. So council approval is not required to approve that delegation.
Okay, so we would move the approval of the agenda, we would hear the delegation, and then the CAO is recommending we go in, and I believe, Burl, you recommend the same, we go in to hear your opinion in camera? Yes. Okay. All right. So there'll be a closed item added to the agenda. All those in favor of that? That's carried, thank you. Okay, that will be G1. Conflicts of interest now? You're still on the board.
no, I took my name off.
Okay. So you have the reports before you and have a delegation. Mr. Schiller, would you like to come forward and speak to the reports?
Members of council, I'm here today, as you know, on behalf of Mayor Fennell, and I'm going to ask you to put aside your strong political or personal animosity towards the mayor and consider this matter based upon fairness and clear thinking. I'm going to be asking you to do the right thing. Now, it's a fundamental tenet of our law that a body such as this council should not be making a decision to require a person, such as the mayor, to make a repayment or to sanction a person such as the mayor unless she knows before the decision is made exactly what you're seeking to do and the basis on which you're seeking to do it. The reason why this is a fundamental tenet of our law is because a person should not have to guess as to what's going to happen at the meeting. A person should have a meaningful opportunity to respond to the allegations made and the sanctions sought to be imposed. If a person goes through a red light and they're given a ticket, when they show up in court, they shouldn't find out for the first time, oh, by the way, you're being charged with reckless driving and we're going to take your license away, not just going through a red light. You're supposed to know well in advance so that you can know what you're facing and have an opportunity to make arguments, to challenge the sanctions sought, and have a meaningful opportunity to do that. Now, unfortunately, the mayor has had to guess exactly what's happening here today. While I was sitting here, a draft motion was, my understanding, for the first time passed out to members of council. I don't know what it says. I don't know what motion is going to be made. The only thing that I know, and the only thing that the mayor knows, is what's on the agenda. And the place for giving the proper notice to the mayor was on the agenda so that she would know what is going to happen today. All we know from the agenda, I have it right here, is that 3 reports are being considered. That is not enough information for the mayor to know what's happening, and that is her right to know what this council is intending to do. On this basis of fairness, just on the basis that we don't know what this council is seeking to do, on that basis alone, council, I say, cannot pass any resolution today to sanction the mayor or to make the mayor repay any amount of money. But there's more. The mayor also has the right to be judged impartially and in good faith, and without feeling any bias against her. Now, there's been statements made by some councillors that strongly suggest that they want to go ahead and impose a sanction regardless of what's said, regardless of what's right. All they want to do is punish a political foe. That is not right. This body needs to act fairly, impartially, and after careful consideration of the issues. And considering the issues requires knowing exactly what the mayor's position is and considering that too. A position she can't put forward until she knows what you're seeking to do. Then we have the LEPA report. If you read the newspaper since the LEPA report came out, you would be forgiven for not knowing what it said and that it came out, because it seems to be that everyone just ignores it and goes back to talk about the Deloitte report. This council on September 24th passed a dispute resolution process by way of resolution. That dispute resolution process was meant to set up a process where the people who Deloitte said should pay back money had an opportunity to meet with someone, put their submissions in, and have that person decide. The mayor and the other people who met with Ms. Leeper signed a document saying that they would be bound by Janet Leeper's findings. If the mayor and the councillors who went through the dispute resolution process are bound, I say that the city is bound too. As you know, Ms. Leeper released her report, and she found that the mayor only had to repay some $3,500, not the $34,000 that Deloitte identified as repayable. She also found that there were only 2 violations of city spending guidelines, not the 266 that Deloitte found. I say that the matter of the Deloitte report and the matter of the Leeper report are complete. Council is bound by the Leeper findings. There's nothing further for council to consider. And council, I say, doesn't have the power to look into the Deloitte report and impose a sanction or order any repayment based on that report. This council made the decision to put the Deloitte report to a dispute resolution process. That was done, and the result, you know. This should end the matter. You have to consider, what did this council do on September 24th, 2014? What meaning does the resolution passed on September 24th, 2014 have if this council can simply ignore its own resolution and require the mayor and councillors to be bound by the dispute resolution process and then wholly ignore it themselves? That's just not right. Now I turn to the Integrity Commissioner report. Now, it is true on September 24th, this council deferred consideration of that report. So that is, I say, technically before council today. I say technically because the argument about fairness still applies. You can't just bring it back, have an agenda that says you're going to consider it and not let the mayor know exactly what you're intending to do. But with respect to the Integrity Commission report, I point out there are only two policy violations left as found by Ms. Leeper. That's an airline ticket purchased in October 2007 and a hotel room used by the mayor while on official city business at an FCM meeting in Whistler in June of 2009. 2007 for the ticket, 2009 for the hotel room. Why do I emphasize the dates? Because the Code of Conduct only came into force in February 2011. I say that this council can't impose a sanction for an alleged breach of the code in respect of items when the code was not even enforced, did not even exist at the time that the two infractions or the two violations occurred. So on that basis alone, I say, in considering the integrity report, no sanction of any kind should be imposed on the mayor. Now, the other thing that I want to say to council is this. The Integrity Commissioner's report came out before the Leaper report. If you read the Integrity Commissioner's report, he essentially says,
On a point of order,
We're now not discussing the reports themselves, and that's what this gentleman is doing. He has his right to do it at the appropriate time. Right now, he's making submissions to us that will eventually meet the test of him being able to discuss this with the full council. I would ask you either narrow it, or he'd let us know how far he intends to lead us into this area before we make a decision as to whether or not we're going to allow him to make it at another point.
well, this is the we expressed that we would allow the delegation to speak on what the reports are that before us that we're going to be deciding today. So I'm going to give every opportunity for the delegation to say that, and we will move in camera and discuss it at that time. Okay? Continue.
thank you.
Trying to be fair with everybody here on this issue.
Okay, so I was talking about the Integrity Commissioner's report, which came out before the Leaper report. The Integrity Commissioner's report basically says Deloitte found breaches, therefore they're breaches, and therefore it's also a breach of the Code of Conduct. But the Integrity Commissioner did not have the benefit of Ms. Leaper's report, which I say is binding on council at the time he made his report. And so we don't know whether or not the Integrity Commissioner still holds the view he held before the Leaper report came out. Now, I can say that the Integrity Commissioner's report, I say, was based on an improper, wrong in law interpretation of the spending guidelines. He made the same mistake as Deloitte made. Ms. Leaper found specifically that the expense policy does not require the mayor, and it didn't require councillors to buy an airline ticket at the best available rate, just at an economy rate, and that she did buy tickets at the economy rate. You can see that the Integrity Commissioner, the best you can glean from his report is that he finds what the mayor did with flight passes to be a breach of Section 3.2 of the code. Well, look at that when you're in camera. Look at that section of the code. It talks about office expenses. It has nothing to do with airline passes. You should also be mindful of the fact that in the Integrity Commissioner's report, he finds that there are problems with the way the code is drafted. He says that he expresses concerns about the certainty of the rules. So I say, if the rules are uncertain, it's unfair to sanction someone for breach of uncertain rules. Now, I'm going to pick up on Councillor Paleshi's point at the beginning, one for all and all for one, I think the words he used. Councillor Hutton.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Oh, no. Thank you for it. Councillor Callahan was found to have breached the Code of Conduct. Is this council going to consider a sanction for him? Councillor Hutton was found to have breached. Is there going to be a sanction for Councillor Hutton? What about Councillors Dillon, Gibson, Hames, Moore, Paleshi, Sanderson, and Sprovieri, all of whom were found by Deloitte to have breached spending guidelines? The way I read the Integrity Commissioner's report, it's very unclear as to whether he found a breach of the code or not. But surely it's not fair to have a finding that many councillors and the mayor breached spending guidelines. It go through a whole process of dispute resolution where it's found that the mayor only violated policy twice, and in 2007 and 2009, and then for this council to call a meeting be petitioned for the sole purpose of punishing one of the people. That is highly unfair. So, quickly to conclude, I say you can't impose any sanction because we don't know. The mayor hasn't given proper, meaningful disclosure of what you're seeking to do. Two, I say that this council is bound by the findings in the LEPA report. $3,500 was ordered repaid, $3,500 was repaid by the mayor. I say with respect to the Integrity Commissioner's report that you can't make any finding or impose any sanction based on that report because it wasn't in existence at the time that the two violations of policy occurred in 2007 and 2009. I say that the Integrity Commissioner's report is based on the Deloitte report, which has now been found to be in error. I also ask you to look at section 3.2 of the Integrity Commissioner's report as to whether or not on its face it allows for the facts as found by the Integrity Commissioner could possibly constitute a breach of that section. So, I sincerely hope that this council will put aside any political or personal motivations and do the right thing. Unless you have any questions, those are my submissions.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go to the CAO. I'm not going to go to the board first. You can come in after.
Through you, Mr. Acting Mayor, it'd be my recommendation in the interest of the corporation that we consider moving into Canberra to hear legal advice.
Okay, so that's, I'm going to suggest that, yes, I'm going to. Oh, right, yeah, you guys were in there for, what, 4 or 5 hours? Right, okay. So I will move a motion to receive the delegation. It's moved by Councillor Miles and seconded by Councillor Dillon. All those in favor? That's carried. Yeah. We have a motion here that's moved by Councillor Miles and seconded by Councillor Hames that we now move into closed session. All those in favor to discuss